Hi there. Come on in. It is Thursday night, September 16th, 2004. Michigan's traditional small game season opened yesterday, 1 week after the first dove season opened in 5 southern Michigan counties. It's caused quite a stir in the press, and we'll be talking about that as well as other outdoor topics in the news that Fred and I will cover. So stay tuned. I'm Zachary Trost, and you're watching a show for the Practical Sportsman.
From the rugged shores and woodlands of the North its history, of copper mines and iron ore, the Great Lakes fishery. To the farmlands of the southern counties we'll look around, my friend, at all that waits the sportsman in the state of Michigan. And sometimes the moon brings out the clouds and the snow, and the stillness of the forest lies encased in Arctic cold. The wind might whisper through the trees, listen if you can. It tells you all the beauty in the state of Michigan.
Correspondent Marty Kovarik reported that sea lampreys, which virtually wiped out sport fishing for lake trout in the Great Lakes in the 1960s, are still taking a toll, but the lamprey population has been reduced by 90% in most areas. Lake Superior has higher than average lake trout mortality from lampreys than the other Great Lakes. Last year there was a huge flood in the Dead River, and biologists feel that it washed a lot of breeding lampreys into the river system. Lampreys breed in rivers and streams, and a pair of lampreys can produce 40 to 50,000 offspring a year. A black bear attacked a federal wildlife agent in Colorado. The agent got away and was hospitalized with a leg injury. The agent was tracking a problem bear that was reported to be killing sheep on Colorado ranches when the bear turned on him. In Livingston, Montana, 2 girls, ages 12 and 13, were hiking for fun when their excursion turned to terror. They discovered they were surrounded by rattlesnakes. They could see 6 of them crawling around them in the brush. One of the girls had a cell phone and they called for help. A local rattlesnake trapper said that he had seen 25 to 30 rattlers in that area earlier. The girls got away safely, but we don't know if they got to sleep that night. And high above the Thane campground in Juneau, Alaska, there was a mid-air collision between 2 bald eagles that sunk their needle-sharp talons into each other. The huge birds came crashing down onto a campsite. One eagle's talons were embedded in the other's beak, and that eagle had its talons stuck in the other eagle's thigh. These birds had to be pulled apart, and they apparently recovered to fly another day. Hopefully those 2 eagles will learn to play nice in the future.
Steve Spence raked me over the coals for my segment last week on the assault rifle ban and its relationship to sportsmen and the law. I'll break his letter down in segments and reply to his comments in order. First of all, he says, you stated that, quote, people have been killed by BB guns. What is your source for that? Well, there was a famous case in recent years where a young boy hit his brother in the temple with a Daisy BB gun. It reduced the kid to a vegetative state, which effectively ended his life. In recent years, an actor was killed by a blank in a pistol. The wad traveled fast enough to kill him. Any projectile has the capability of harming a person, and the resulting side effects can result in death. So some BB guns and pellet guns can be pumped up to shoot 1,000 feet a second. They're lethal, and they do kill. Next, he says, I'd like to know what animal sportsmen hunt that requires the pulling of a rifle trigger rapid fire over and over with fairly large caliber ammo. In my imagination, I have this vision of a clumsy, bad shot hunter hitting a deer on the run and then firing 6 or 8 times more rapidly with one of these semi-automatics, riddling the animal. Why else would you need the semi-automatic function unless you were a lame hunter? Well, no animal requires a barrage of bullets like you describe. I mean, machine guns weren't even designed to empty the drum or belt in one long stream of shots. Machine guns are used 1 shot at a time or in short bursts. In hunting, the single shot is the ball game. The value of a semi-automatic is just being able to recover from the recoil and re-aim if that first shot didn't put the animal down as planned. The semi-automatic merely reloads the next cartridge without having to manually jack a lever or work a bolt. It's not to spray the woods with bullets. That'd be stupid. Now, this is the same type of question that people have about hot cars. What's the point in having a car that can go 120 miles an hour when the speed limit is only 70? Well, it's not so that you can avoid the cops and escape after you rob a bank. It's to have a reserve of power so you can accelerate quickly to avoid an accident. I mean, it can be safer than having a sluggish vehicle. Same type of thing with guns. Now, tell me also, if you would, why someone would want to kill a bear. Why would a hunter living in an urban area want to drive hundreds of miles to kill a bear with a high-powered rifle? What is sporting about that? Don't you think the contest between man and beast should be, oh, just a little more up and up? I don't know where this idea comes from about this man and beast conflict. Most game is hunted because the hunters like the reward of being able to eat what they kill. Hunting is not a contest or a sport in my mind. It's a food gathering activity. That's the practical sportsman philosophy. I don't know where this sport idea comes into play and why people bring it up so often, because the animals don't die in sport. It's not a game to them. They die in earnest. When I hunt game, I kill them so that I can clean them, cook them, and eat them. I don't get the contest idea, whether it's between me and another hunter to see who could shoot the most, or between me and the animal. I am not interested in competitive killing, and I don't think most hunters are either. But you'd have to ask them, just like you'd have to ask bear hunters why they like hunting bear. I suppose most would say because it has hair-raising excitement, because the bear is dangerous. There is a surplus of bears, and even with hunting, there's a surplus. Where bears aren't hunted, they're becoming a serious problem. So the population of bears is not diminished by hunting. But that doesn't explain why people like to hunt them. You'd have to ask them. I mean, as for why people do things, the practical sportsman philosophy is that your choice of activities is your own individual choice. As long as you aren't hurting somebody else or infringing upon them, you have a right to choose what you want to do without having to justify it to the rest of the world. Now, I heard on the radio earlier this week, Senator Kerry, he was talking to the Association of Police Chiefs, and he said, as a gun owner, as a hunter, I never thought of going hunting with a military assault weapon, ever. When I heard him say that, I thought, let me change that comment to read another way. As a vehicle owner and a vehicle operator, I've never thought of driving to church in a bulldozer, ever. My point is, bulldozers and assault-style rifles have their places, but neither are designed for hunting. But it isn't just about hunting, is it? I think the question is, if America were attacked or experienced terrorist uprisings, do you think citizens should have the right to arm themselves with appropriate guns to defend themselves, their families, their neighborhoods, and their country? It's not about hunting. It's about that question when it comes to assault-style weapons. At least that's my opinion.
But dove hunting in the South is very much if I can use the word, genteel sport. Lots of guys that have been hunting doves for years together. They get together, they meet at a farm. They pay farmers money to crop fields certain ways, so they'll track doves. They have a nice leisurely shoot. They go back to the farmhouse. They have a big barbecue before they go home. It's a very, very social event. Lots of times their wives will come out and meet them for the barbecue afterwards. Down in Tennessee, where I go every year to hunt doves, this is a big social event of the season.
I don't know what the population estimate is for Michigan, but we would expect the effect on the population of doves in Michigan to be the same as it is on doves in any other state, and that's none. When the Fish and Wildlife Service conducted a study of dove and dove hunting and non-dove hunting states from 1975 to 1980, they found that the breeding effort, number of breeding birds, number of birds in hunted and unhunted states to be virtually identical. Other people's enjoyment of doves. I've lived in 2 other states, Maryland and Virginia specifically, hunted doves in both states, and they still came to the bird feeders there, and they still behaved the same way as they do here in Michigan, and in a very short while, I'll be taking a little bit of a vacation in Maryland, and the doves still come to my mother's feeder right through dove season. So from that point of view, I can't understand those objections.
Came down here to work for the Department of Natural Resources.
Yes.
So you know the attitudes and the sentiments in Michigan. You've heard about them. You can probably understand them or not.
Well, I guess most of the people that I'm acquainted with are hunters and fishermen, and I think their sentiments towards dove hunting would be pretty well appreciated if they could get exposed to it. I think everybody looks at the mourning dove at first as a bird of peace, but I think if they ever come and had a hunting opportunity like this, they'd probably change their mind, because they are quite a sporting bird.
There are a lot of birds, though, that would be sporting. Blackbirds, starlings. You know, they're open.
Yes.
People don't shoot them. Too
Well,
small to eat?
No, I don't think they're probably as good eating as the mourning dove, and I think it's probably tradition that you really don't eat a blackbird or a crow or a starling unless you're really starved, but the mourning dove is a very excellent eating bird and eats mostly grain.
Do you find that most hunters who hunt for them eat the doves?
Yes, I do. Almost everybody last year, anyways, when we got started, was wondering about certain recipes and how to fix them and how to that. They weren't really sure how to do it, but everybody I know fixed them and ate them because they're very delicious to eat.
A real treat on the table, abundant in the fields, and the most challenging game bird to wing shooters all over the country is the mourning dove. Hitting speeds of 60 miles an hour, most of them get away, living only a few months longer before Mother Nature deals with their bulging populations through other methods. Now, our hunting party averaged 9 doves apiece during the early season hunt in Indiana. Now, I think I had the least doves, but the most shells to show for my afternoon. But there's a good meal there. Now, when you're shopping for shotgun shells, you'll find the lighter loads are called dove and quail loads. 35 states hunt doves. Out of an estimated 500 million birds, hunters take about 50 million. But unless there's a big change in our state, dove hunting won't be part of the hunting scene in the state of Michigan. This weekend, make sure you share some time with a friend or a kid, and if you can, spend that time outdoors. It's a great place to be. See you next week.